Rudy Gobert could have 10.5 rebounds.
He's a shell of himself.
You're a shell of yourself.
They're going to win the World Series this year. First time since 1991.
LeBron, you ignorant schmuck. And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the Line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your Andy Classic, joined by
Jabron.
Oh, the parlay pounder.
You got it. We're back.
Now we got a site in our sights.
Yeah, site in our sights
on the MLB, Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
A lot of chatter going on as of late. You know, All-Star Weekend's right around the corner.
For
here.
sure.
We got to talk MVP odds, and wouldn't you know it, 2 of the 4 top vote getters and at the top of your odds right now are a couple Yankees.
Yeah, no doubt.
Juan Soto, but it's headlined by Aaron Judge,
Yep.
who is also your leading vote getter for the All-Star game.
No doubt. That's always going to happen. If the Yankees are good, their superstars are going to be highest in the votes.
Yep.
They're, America's team. They're the Dallas Cowboys, Major League Baseball. But, with Aaron Judge, it's rightfully so, Andy. Through June 25th, the Yankee slugger has hit for 300 with 70 RBIs, 59 runs scored, and a league-leading 28 home runs. So it puts him in a similar pace for his 2022 MVP campaign.
Right. Yep.
So obviously he should be at the top, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah, he's minus money everywhere. I mean, even at Caesars, he's minus 150. So
no
he's
doubt.
way out in front right now. But I want to talk about this guy in the 2-hole.
Yeah.
Young man that we've talked a lot about lately, Gunnar Henderson,
Yeah, no doubt.
Baltimore Oriole. One of those youngsters that are making things happen. Why the Orioles have been making such a run over the last 2 years in that AL East. He's at a plus 350, plus 340, and I think there's a lot of things to like about Gunnar.
Yeah, for sure, Andy. There's 2 guys that could upend this for the Yankees. Obviously, it's Gunnar Henderson at that 2-hole with the Orioles. They're only a game and a half back from the New York Yankees right now. A lot of people will say, well, that doesn't go into MVP voting. They don't look at records, all that kind of stuff. If the Baltimore Orioles go on a hot streak right here and tank the New York Yankees into that 2-hole of the AL East, it's definitely a factor for Gunnar Henderson in this MVP race. So that's probably as good as odds as you're going to get for a guy that could win it, just because of the fact that they are so close to the Yankees. And if Judge or Soto gets hurt, this is really tough. You don't want either of these 2 guys to get hurt, especially Judge, obviously having such a great year. Yeah. Probably on pace for over 60 home runs and batting 300, which is absolutely phenomenal. And that's all the case you need for the MVP. If you can do that, if you can hit 60 home runs and bat 300, there's no way that they can take it away from you. So I think the only person that can pose a threat is Gunnar Henderson, with beating them in the AL East and just going straight on fire at the end of the season.
Love what you just said there, and there's so many things to like about Henderson, but also where the Orioles are at. They're 20 games above 500, only a game and a half behind the Yankees right now.
Correct.
And even if those 2 guys, Soto and Judge, stay healthy, that almost makes a better case for Gunnar Henderson if the Orioles somehow outplay them down the stretch and take down that American League East. I mean, whether you're a Yankee fan or not, it doesn't matter what the fans necessarily think. It's what the voters think and the odds makers think. So I like that MVP odd there for Gunnar Henderson. Another guy at the top of the list we've talked about before, but maybe you're not so high on as of late, Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah, it's tough for me to give. I mean, obviously Bobby's having a great year. I just believe that the Kansas City Royals are going to take a step back here, Andy. And I just don't see the value on putting money on Bobby Witt right now to plus 500, because I don't believe Kansas City's going to be there at the end, and I don't believe that he's going to have the stat line that these 3 guys are going to have. I'll give you one that's even down further on the list that I put above Bobby Witt Jr., and it is Jose Ramirez for the Cleveland Guardians at a plus 2,500, Andy. If you're deep diving, if you're looking for a play, if you're looking to cash out big, that still has a chance of winning this MVP, it is definitely Jose Ramirez. They are 51-27 in control of the AL Central by 8.5 games over my Minnesota Twins. And this guy is slashing. He's batting .275 with 21 homers, 72 RBIs, 15 stolen bases, Andy's, and 61 runs scored. This guy is the all-do-it guy for the Cleveland Guardians. So I believe if there is an outlier there that could still win it with huge odds, it is the plus 2,500 with Jose Ramirez, with how good Cleveland's been playing.
The lumber is hot over there in Cleveland.
No doubt.
Now, Stephen Kwan is right behind him.
Kwan, hit it with the Kwan.
Plus 5,500 to take down this MVP. So they got a number of those guys, those do-it-all,
for sure,
five-tool type players. And you knew they had, if they were going to make it a race in the Central, they were going to have some of those guys
rely on those guys.
And that's exactly.
Jose Ramirez has been a household name for multiple years now, but it looks like he is the he does pose a threat. He does pose a threat if Cleveland keeps going like this. If they get up, on the Twins 15, 20 games, it'll be hard to discount him if he has a 50 home run, year. So
Juan, Fry, first baseman, catcher, outfielder, just so many of those five-tool guys. All right, let's talk about some of these pennant races. Let's start.
You don't want to talk about NL MVP.
I'm talking. NL MVP.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're leaving out the most biggest star of all MLB, the Mr. Shohei in Los Angeles. I mean, he has this wrapped up just like Judge does on the other side. But if you're looking for any value over there, I believe the only case to be made is the guy in Philadelphia, Bryce Harper.
He's not even the favorite right now.
Shohei is the favorite. Obviously, Shohei is the favorite. But I like Bryce Harper. Obviously, I've always been a homer for Bryce Harper. He's at plus 200 right now. I believe if the Phillies just go on the streak that they are and Bryce Harper plays like he does in the second half of seasons, he always picks it up. I do believe that the voters will get kind of that, LeBron feeling. We don't need to vote him MVP every year. We don't need to give Shohei MVP 7 times, this year. And they might go back to Bryce. So if Bryce has a huge second half, I believe this could happen. But the odds aren't there right now. Plus 200 over Shohei, who is huge in the lead right now.
Minus 120, minus 125.
Exactly, but he has a 433 batting average, Andy, with 13 hits, 6 home runs, 14 RBIs, and 10 runs scored in his last 8 games in LA, where they went 6-2. This guy is slashing. He is the best player in the Major League Baseball. It would be stupid to bet against him.
And every one of those highlights on SportsCenter, I think he doesn't hit a home run under 400 feet.
No, it's just gone. It's
just a moonshot every time.
They can't even find the ball with the camera. It's moving so fast.
You're on to something, though, as far as voter fatigue goes.
Yeah, no doubt.
Bryce Harper's the number 2 vote getter for the All-Star game. Right behind Aaron Judge. So that kind of follows suit with, a lot of times those voters do agree with the fans and give the fans what they want.
For sure.
It's just that Ohtani's doing too much right now.
Him and Judge are just above everybody right now. It would be stupid to put money on anybody else, but at least in that AL, you kind of feel that a couple of those guys could upend that. So, like you were saying, let's get into some World Series in league championship talk.
All righty, well, in the NL pennant, of course, it's the Dodgers well out in front. I mean, you're looking at a plus 190 on some books, FanDuel right now, plus 145, 150 on a lot of other books. It's really hard to argue with the Dodgers. I know you might have an argument with them. And the Braves have had a couple of stellar seasons back-to-back here.
No doubt.
They're sitting in that 3-hole at a plus 400, plus 325 on some books. Not as good odds there. But I think there's a lot to like about the top 3, and then it really falls off, and the odds bear that out.
Yeah, no doubt. Obviously, it's no secret that I believe the Philadelphia Phillies will win the World Series this year, so that would mean that they're going to win the National League Championship.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But I believe that if there are 2 people that you want to pick right now with the odds, with getting this big number, I believe it is the St. Louis Cardinals at plus 2,200 and the San Diego Padres at plus 2,500. These are the 2 teams that I feel could get hot enough to win that National League. If I'm taking a step back and looking at just value picks. These are my 2 value picks that I believe that can win the NL with very good value. Plus 2,200 with the St. Louis Cardinals with the fire that they started out so bad.
They have a winning pedigree, and whether they're not slated to win or not, they just kind of always come through. I mean, they had a rough season last year. But they're only 2 games above 500 right now. Your Padres, they're only 3 games above 500.
Correct.
But Tatis Jr., he's your 3rd
MVP guy.
Yes, in the MVP odds. And we've seen that from the likes of him before, where his back gets really hot down the stretch. It's just that you're up against a monster. You're already 8 games back of the Dodgers. That's rough, but there's a wild card.
There's a wild card. So I was just saying, with value, I believe these are the 2 teams that you have to look at if you're looking for that long shot to win the NL pennant.
All righty. So should we move on over to the
American League
pennant? Obviously, we've been talking about them. You can't talk baseball, unfortunately, and not talk about the Yankees.
The Pinstripes.
The damn Yankees.
Yeah.
At a plus 200 on a lot of books, 220 at Hard Rock.
Yeah. No doubt.
All right. And then the Orioles are behind them at a plus 260, plus 400. A lot of variance there when you're talking who's coming in second place. And I believe that's just because the Yankees are out in front.
Yeah, for sure, Andy. And the AL is a lot more wide open than the NL, like we were just talking, Andy. So you don't really get value until you get all the way down to like the Texas Rangers and the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, which I don't believe have a chance at the American League pennant this year. So I scooted up a little bit.
Okay.
I really like the Baltimore Orioles sitting in that 2 slot at plus 400 just because I do believe that they can beat the Yankees in a 7-game series.
We've seen it. They can.
They can. So, but if you're looking for a little bit more of a value play, you can't look past the Houston Astros. Obviously, you cannot look past the Houston Astros at plus 1,100. And then with my fandom comes the Minnesota Twins at plus 1,000. So those are my 2 value plays for the American League. I believe anything below that, I don't believe teams really have a shot in the American League.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to get a lot of hate from the Royals fans at plus 1,800 and the Boston Red Sox fans at plus 2,500. But I just don't believe this is your guys' year. Like you said, we cannot look past the Astros because they can beat every team above them. I know that my brother's going to hate me for not putting the Mariners in this. I think they're in the weakest division. I do not believe that they should be up at plus 650. Don't believe that's good enough value for the Seattle Mariners. And Cleveland, I believe they're playing very good baseball right now, but I've seen that overturn as well.
Yeah, and their odds aren't near as good as even the Astros.
For sure.
You know what I mean? You're looking at plus 600 compared to a plus 1,200 for the Astros, and we've seen the Astros do it before.
Astros are the play in the AL.
Exactly.
If you're looking for value, the Houston Astros at plus 1,100 is the thing to do.
It's really hard to argue the Astros right now as far as those value bets to take it all down.
No doubt about it.
Crown.
Heck yeah.
Well, that'll about do it for us this week as we're up against it. Be sure to follow us on ESPN, Tri-City Radio, and their Facebook page. We're also on Twitter. And if you haven't already, please check out our YouTube channel. Maybe like a video or even subscribe. Or leave one of those comments like, I told you so.
Yeah.
I always love reading those.
Yeah, Jabron, you idiot. Yeah. No, love it. Please like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff on YouTube. You can also find us on TikTok at WTL Sports Betting. We are putting out videos before primetime fights, primetime games, all that stuff over there. So please like, subscribe, all that good stuff.
For Jabron, the Parlay Pounder, I'm Andy Klassen. Thank you for listening. This has been WTL.
Perfect.